and of Sara.
Bakit hindi kayo sumali dun sa umaga na lang? Yan na naman ako, Justice. So, talagang, ako yung talagang pasaway talaga. And I'm gonna create war among all of us. No, I'm just kidding. I completely get your point that, uh, ang nakakatakot kasi, and I think this came out in my discussions with Chelo and Bicol is, dapat, ingat din ang opposition na hindi magpagamit sa administration. I completely agree with that fear that some of our friends have. But my fear is also cuts in the other direction. So obviously, it will depends on how we're reading the situation. But I have a fundamental argument here, or question rather, Justice. Is there a moral equivalency here in a sense that kung usapan ito ng billions, I can also talk about the billions of confidential fund of the Davao, of the Dutertes throughout the decades. If you want to talk about billions, I can talk about Duterte's own COVID-19 budget with very questionable practices back in the day. We can talk about Farmali. But if there's one thing I can talk about Duterte that I cannot talk about BBM, at least so far, knock on the wood, is tens of thousands of dead people based on some questionable drug war. And in fairness to BBM, at least when it comes to China, hindi siya, I love China, China will protect me, make us a province of China. So again, I'm all for not choosing between any of them, but a part of me feels that, again, I know it's beginning to sound like lesser evil argument, but it's more like, is there an equivalency, moral equivalency between the two, considering the Dutertes are accused of something even more serious than just corruption and confidential fund?
Well, for one, we have been supportive of BBM as far as the West Philippine Sea issue is concerned. I mean, I've openly said it's what he has done is music to my ears. I'm totally in support of his policy on the West Philippine Sea. But on the budget, I think we cannot escape from criticizing it because it's just too much. So, but we
I
are
guess
not.
that's a good quote. Sorry,
We're,
sorry. It's just too much, I think, is a far better quote than this is the worst ever budget. Sorry, I just think that was exaggerated. But it's just too much for us to be quiet. I think it's absolutely correct. Sorry, Justice, medyo passionate ako sa issue na yan kasi alam ko maraming galit sa akin. So I'm dinadamay kita. Sorry.
well, that's it. That's what we're doing. We just have to praise them when they do what is correct. But if they do what is wrong and they don't want to correct it, then we have really to expose them.
I'll have one more question, Justice, before we go really to the last part. Between Digong, because you dealt with BBM, you dealt with Digong. I remember back in the day, you even gave him a briefing on clause. I don't know how much he could process. So you met both Digong and you also met BBM, right? Base sa inyong experience, sorry, just I'm putting you on the spot, but I think you can see where I'm going. Between the two of them, whose feet we can keep closer to the fire, meaning who could be more amenable to good counsel or self-correction? Again, it's going back to my argument of, are they really the same political species here are we talking about? Or am I putting you in, am I entrapping you like how
No,
you're
no.
entrapping Harry Roque?
I will answer that, but I'll just clarify. I I offered to give a briefing to Digong, to Duterte. He said, okay, give a briefing, but to my cabinet. So that's what happened.
Sorry,
He did not
sorry. But you
attend.
met him in person, right? I mean, we met Digong
Yeah,
in person.
I met him in
Yeah,
person, but
yeah.
when it comes to when it when I gave my briefing, the cabinet members were there, but not President Duterte. Uh, President Bongbong attended one of my lectures, the one that I gave in the Senate. So your question is,
Who is
can you
more
rephrase?
amenable to self-correction and who is more, essentially reformable, if I can put that term. Yeah, yeah.
Well, no doubt it will be hands down. It will be BBM. Because remember, BBM during the campaign said, well, talo na tayo sa China. Wala na tayong magagawa. But right after the election, when he won, he made a complete turnaround. So somebody convinced him to to make a 180-degree turn.
Okay, ito na promise. Papunta tayo sa last part. I just wanted to clarify. May magtatanong, bakit din niyo sinabi si Sara Duterte? Sabi ko, wag na, baka ma-zoom tayo ni Sara Duterte if we say something wrong about her. Justice, baka ano yun tayo ni Sara. No, but syempre, because the counter argument be, why are you comparing the father to BBM? You should compare BBM to Sara. I was like, and what is your read of Sarah? Is Sarah someone who could be reasonable and amenable to self-correction and doing the right thing, considering on West Philippine Sea?
Well, Sarah has not said a word about the West Philippine Sea.
Ayan, yan ang problema natin. Blank.
So, but but she has been greeting the Chinese in Mandarin.
So maybe she said things, it's just that you and I didn't understand it. I'll tell you what, Justice Scarpio, my Chinese friend also did not understand it. Like, wait, what language was that? It's like, someone explained to me the way she spoke Mandarin was like speaking French and then pronouncing the whole thing. It's like, Bordeaux, right? You say Bordeaux UX. Or Rousseau, you say Rusiao, right? Like, ganun daw yung dating sa mga Chinese. Parang, anong pinagsasabi nito? Hindi naman ito Mandarin. Tuloy ginawang Chowking. Nag-order daw sa Chow. So, Justice Guard, to be fair, for all we know, Sarah has said things, except neither us nor our Mandarin-speaking friends understood her. So, I just need to check her script. So, yun lang. I'm just trying to be fair to Sarah Duterte. Sasabihin na naman nila, bakit purong lalaki lang pinag-usapan niyo, BBM Digong? Bakit si Sarah? Alam mo naman, Justice, marami mga galit daw sa amin kasi puro kami mga misogynist daw. Parang hello. Bawal daw mag-criticize kay Sarah kasi misogynist daw pag si Sarah. We can only say that Duterte is, medyo Pero pag Sarah, daw yan, sexist daw yan. But anyway, Justice, huwag mong patulan yan kasi problema namin ni Ronald yan at saka Christian Esquerra. Now, last point, Justice. It looks like it's Bam and Kiko have a good chance. Kiko already pasok sa SWS 12. And then sa Okta and Pulse Asia, they're right just out of the perimeter of competitiveness. So they're somewhere between 14, 15, 16. So a few percentage points here and there. Lenny Magic, as Lenny comes out in favor of Bam, could be helpful here and there. But obviously, it's not just Bam and Kiko, right? You said there were originally 8 and now 7 candidates that you believe are truly genuine opposition that you're willing to endorse. Can you name them one by one and why, Justice? Etong 7 na to. Kasi alam ko marami na magagalit bakit daw hindi sila na-mention. I won't say sino yung mga nagagalit sa mga podcast na bakit di na kami niimbita? Bakit hindi kami na-mention?
Well, we have Heidi Mendoza, and she's also going up in the ratings. We have, of course, from the right, we have Ariel Kerubin.
Oh, so we're matching it, macho and
we have our labor guy, Sani Matula.
Right, exactly. Yeah, of course. Okay, so gets ko siya because you want the progressive labor voice, right?
Yeah.
Solid. Gets ko si Heidi Mendoza kasi, of course, accountability, transparency, United Nation level technocrat, right? Bakit si General Querubin for the... Ako alam ko bakit, but for the purpose of the people who are
Well,
not...
he's a Valor Medal of Valor awardee.
So,
Bemedaled military officer. He served the country with honor, and he can represent the uniformed personnel.
So you rather have him than Lacson? Because Lacson is positioning himself as the man of the hindi lang police pero essentially the PMA people and all of that. You think?
Yeah, yeah. Lacson is not in our list. So
and then sino pa? Justice, there are dalawa pa, no? Sino pang mga okay sa inyo in terms of senatorial candidates? Parang ang daming nawala dyan. Like, magagalit na naman sa akin yung mga iba. We're gonna have Heidi Mendoza on this show soon. So, like, just to be clear.
Yeah, I hope you guessed her
Yeah.
because she's going up.
Yes, she's doing very well and paras kami ng favorite color, purple.
Mm.
Mga Team Ube, right? So Justice, your idea is that the 6 or 7, obviously, si Doc Willie Ong, unfortunately, won't be able to continue because he has to focus on his recovery and our prayers and love with his family, and of course, God willing, he'll have full recovery. Ito yung mga genuine opposition na inisip ni Justice. Ano yung mga nire-represent nila? I mean, uh, how did you what is the methodology came out? Dapat ba parang may inclusiveness of different sectors also? Parang ganun ba? Parang may kababaihan, may labor, may military, ganun
Well,
ba? Or mm.
we had three criteria. The candidate must have integrity, uh, competence, and love for country, patriotism. Yun yung tatlong factors on which we evaluated them.
And just to clarify on this, Justice, the other day, Bam Aquino came under fire, not by me. I just made this, hindi naman semi-sarcastic. I just made a clarificatory, but in a Hidarian way. Yung sinabi na yung issue ng SAR impeachment ay political lang daw. But in fairness, if you watch the full video, there's more context to that and all. And basically, ang argument ni Bam Aquino is, I could be the next senator judge, so I don't want to prejudge the issue. I have to be impartial, ganun-ganon, at focus tayo sa issue ng, alam mo na, the gut issues and all of that. Sa inyong palagay, Justice, anong dapat ang sasabihin ng isang genuine opposition candidate pag tinanong siya sa election na ito? Anong stance mo sa SARA impeachment?
Well, that's
Including
very,
the next senator, by the way. So, in fact, I'm just trying to be fair also to Bam's point on the impartiality argument.
yeah. Well, that position is acceptable because they don't want to be, they should not prejudge because there's already an impeachment case filed with the Senate. Uh, they should be careful with what they're saying. If especially if we assume that Bam will be elected, anybody who's as a probable who would could probably win should be careful. Should as much as possible not comment anymore because there's already a case in the Senate, and they will surely be one of the judges.
So I think this is where I have a slight disagreement, Justice, because unang-una, I think we already established that the impeachment is really more political than a legal thing. And more importantly, you already have people like Amy Marcos, Robin Hood Padilla, among others, openly saying saan sila tataya on this issue. And pangatlo, I would say, ilan bang hearings at Mary Grace Piatos ang dapat mabuking bago natin masabi na something really wrong went on here. So wouldn't it have been better for Bam to say, obviously, kailangan ko maging impartial. At the same time, hindi natin maitatanggi yung mga lumabas sa mga hearings. But nevertheless, I rather discuss constructive issues like you know what I'm saying? Like there's a way to get out of it while
Yeah,
kind of giving, something to eat, right? Na feeling ko yun yung kulang sa sinabi ni Bam.
yeah,
You know what I'm
he
saying?
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can give the premise that this is what happened in the House, but I have to, I will be one of the judges, so I cannot really give my personal opinion. Ganyan lang.
Exactly. And there's no way, Justice, I can let you go without asking about Donald Trump. I mean, everything we have been saying about Donald Trump, it's coming true in a sense that, oh my goodness, I mean, did he basically throw Ukraine under the bus with Pete? I don't know where's ASEAN Hagseth essentially forward deploying all concessions, saying Ukraine will never be part of NATO, US will never be part of any peacekeeping. We're even hearing reports, Justice, that Trump might call for a three big powers meeting, parang essentially a new Tehran conference, right? With Beijing and Russia to decide the future of the world. I mean, that's like scary stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I think uh, Trump is joining President joining Putin and Xi to form an axis of evil. their
My
own
God,
actions.
that's like a new, like, oh my,
Yeah,
super villain, kasi puro sila mga
because
super.
they have already,
Yeah.
because what is the worst thing that Putin has done? He invaded a country in
Yeah.
violation of the UN Charter. You cannot settle a territorial dispute by force
Mhm.
or use of force. So, and President Xi is doing the same thing in the South China Sea. They're out to overturn the foundation of the UN that all disputes between states must be settled by peaceful means without resort to force or use of force. And now Trump is saying, I will seize Gaza. I will force all the people there to transfer to another country to live outside of Gaza. And we will make Gaza the Riviera of the Middle East. It will be a business enterprise. So
Essentially,
that's
Gaza without Palestinians. That's what he's saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's in violation of the UN Charter. I mean, that's even a crime against humanity, deporting an entire
Ethnic
population,
cleansing. Yeah, it's ethnic cleansing class.
ethnic cleansing. So, and that's why I said it's now an axis of evil. They have exactly the same frame of mind. And what is dangerous here is how can we now tell President Xi, do not seize the Spratlys because that's in violation of the UN Charter. And President Xi will say, oh, this is what we've discussed with Donald Trump. We can do this because he's doing it also to Gaza.
And
That's the big problem.
Greenland and Panama
And
and
Greenland and Panama
even
and
poor
who
Canadian.
knows what else.
Yeah. He might, his mind might, and eto na, official na, ICC Karim Khan facing sanctions. I think even his family members could face sanctions. South Africa facing sanctions for the ICJ case against Israel over the what, I don't know how to put that, Justice. Um it's not surprising. At the same time, a part of me is parang naiinis sa ICC na ba't pa nila hinintay na manalo si Trump? Sana na ginawa na nila lahat ng ginawa nila. Kasi ngayon, tuwan-tuwa yung mga DDS kay Trump because ICC is what, yeah, is in the crosshairs of the world's most powerful country. I mean, so what does that mean? I mean, at the same time, a part of me is saying, wala namang paki si Trump kay Duterte. If ever ICC goes after Duterte, he'll say, okay, whatever. Like, this is really about Netanyahu and my friends there, right? So, what is your read on that? Ako kasi, to be honest, parang, bakit ang tinagalan ng ICC? Dapat last year ginawa na nila kasi ang laki ng chance manalo si Trump noon eh. At we knew what Trump was going. He was gonna sanction Karim Khan. He was gonna go after them. Or do you think the Israeli-Gaza issue was just so, it just, the bandwidth, naubos yung bandwidth ng ICC na they're not in a position to the Philippine things. Kasi pati Taliban na nga na naabutan pa ng ICC eh. Malapit na rin yung Myanmar. Parang, what's going on here, Justice? Am I being too much? Am I expecting too much from ICC, or maybe it's not the end of the world?
Well, we've all been waiting for the warrant of arrest, but it looks like it's being postponed and postponed, no? Assuming that they will issue it. Uh, so that's it. Uh, with Trump now going after the ICC, the more they're embattled now, and the more they have to show that they can survive. They will not be distracted. But one thing is sure, the entire EU will be supporting the ICC because that's the creation of EU. So I don't think Trump can dismantle the ICC on his own without the EU, and the EU will never dismantle the ICC. So Trump can give the prosecutors of the ICC a hard time, but that will be enough. That will not be enough uh, to terminate the existence of ICC.
So we have last 2 minutes before we hit the 1 hour mark, Justice. Do you think it makes sense I call it strategic collective bargaining, meaning magsama-sama tayong lahat, us, the Europeans, maybe the Japanese and Australians and all of us, sabay-sabay natin sabihin sa US, no, you're not gonna just force your way through this. Donald Trump, you're no longer the emperor of the world, right? This is not America's world anymore. We will fight back and we'll hold the line if you're not willing to help. Get out. I mean, do you think that could be the way forward? That we could work with Europeans and some of the other democracies and say, why, bakit tayo na hostage to the whims of Trump or whoever has his ears, Elon Musk or whatever? Because, I mean, to be honest, I don't even think Trump knew about Greenland really until someone whispered something in his ear. So this guy is just going. He, I think there's a quote from him, right? He's just going with the punches. He literally used that term, right? He's just going with his punches. So hindi ba dapat tayo mga allies and democracies kind of stand together and draw the line?
Yeah, we should. But there's a large segment of American society that is against the position of Trump, and we must send a message that they should talk also, because what Trump is actually doing is helping Russia and China overturn the foundational principle of the UN, that you cannot use force to settle a territorial dispute. And if Trump is on their side, how can we beat China? How can we stop China? Because it's only the US that's stopping China. That's it. That's the problem. Uh, Trump doesn't understand that what he's doing in Gaza will is helping China in the South China Sea, justifying China's action in the South China, justifying Russia's action in Ukraine.
I just
And
yeah,
and
mm.
this will hurt the US, because next time when they ask the world for support to go against a country that's invading another country, nobody will, everybody will say, but you were against the principle of the UN.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, ako, my practical advice is just work with people who are sympathetic there. So, Secretary Manal just had a very good meeting with Marco Rubio on the sidelines of the Munich conference, and Marco Rubio very strongly supported the Philippines on the South China Sea issue. But for me, just work with them and then maybe play into their egos. So, for instance, one country that is very successful in playing to America's psyche, essentially the Trumpian psyche, is Poland, right? Poland now is the favorite European country of because they have been showing very strong macho foreign policy. Foreign Minister Sikorski was here a few months ago, and we interviewed him on our show, and he said Philippines could be like the Poland of Asia in a good way, meaning, yeah, you're mid-size and all, but if you show to Trump na palaban ka and all, which we are doing in the West Philippine Sea, actually baka matuwa pa si Trump sa'yo. Do you think maybe that's our option B now, that basically we'll schmooze our way with Trump and be kind of like the Poland, like, yeah. I mean, like, I know we're not superpowers and all, but we're also palaban. And the reason I want to mention is that because the president of Poland has a very good relationship with Trump. He was in the Trump Tower a few months ago. Nag-dinner daw sila, and in that dinner, he gave a dramatic account of na sobrang kawawa in Poland. I mean, 3 times he disappeared from the map, di ba? And that apparently worked with Trump. So maybe we should also send over some people from Philippines to tell the dramatic case of no, just it's like this is the reality of like how Machiavellian way of dealing with someone like Trump. Like we have to find a way to keep him keeping on our side basically, right? On the China
Yeah.
challenge. Even if we
Well,
don't have China's power and status and the leverages that superpowers have.
well, one thing that we can do, because it's also good for us, is to tell Trump we will comply with your call to NATO to spend 2% of GDP on military defense. We will do that also. He will be happy. But I mean, we're not giving away anything because we really have to do that anyway. And we should be preparing just in case Trump walks away from us.
I have another advice. Damihan natin yung mga Trump Towers sa Philippines. I think that always helps. One in Cebu, one in Davao, one in Baguio. I think everything will be fine. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Justice Carpio, for this really wide-ranging and interesting discussion. Thank you, Justice, for your extreme generosity of time. I know you've been exhausted, and I hope your Sabbath day tomorrow will be a restful one and a blessed one. And Justice, hope we can catch up again in person soon. I'm trying to arrange something, or baka disturbo na naman kami sa ni Ronald or someone else soon dahil marami tayong pag-usapan. Justice, of course, people, I think should read really the book, no, The Internationalists. No, that's a fantastic book about how the post-World
Yeah.
War order of that might is not right.
And
Yeah.
we need that now because you have China and Russia trying to overturn the world order, and Trump has joined them. We need more internationalists.
Who are patriotic at the same time. That's not
Yeah.
mutual. You can be an internationalist patriotic, just like you, using international law for our national interest. Salamat, Justice, my favorite
Okay.
internationalist in Manila. Talk to you soon po. God bless. Have a lovely weekend.
Okay, Richard. Thank you. Thank you,
Salamat.
Charles.